Hi everyone, David Zarza here with your daily dose of curious news. Um, I wanted to talk to you today about this topic called the Mandela Effect. I don't know if you've heard about it yet. It seems to be gaining a lot of attention and a lot of speed in entering our collective consciousness through the internet. There are lots of forums, there are lots of websites, there are so many YouTube videos that talk about the Mandela effect and what is causing it and what it is and what we should do. And I wanted to bring it up to your attention because you've likely run into it without knowing what it is, or you have run into it and you know what it is, or you haven't run into it yet and so I'm exposing you to it. So if you haven't heard about the Mandela effect, grab a drink or have one ready for after this video, because some of this is really weird, really curious. So in 2012, this paranormal consultant named Fiona Broome coined this term Mandela effect because I believe she was at some lecture and she posed a question to the audience about when do they recall Nelson Mandela dying? Was it when he was in prison, or was it much later than that? And a lot of people raised their hand for when he was in prison, and a lot of people raised their hand for much later than that. And it was just really curious because the truth, at least in our timeline, is that he passed away in 2013, but some people recall him passing away in the 1980s, like over 30 years before when he actually did. And this is really strange because a lot of people are saying that, the government or the world government is trying to pull a fast one on us by erasing Google records or facts on the internet to confuse us, to keep us off base. I have a different theory. If you look online though, you will notice that a lot of people believe it is just a glitch in our memories, not a glitch in the matrix. I believe it's probably something different. So where I come from is the fact that, yes, I'm a psychic, yes, I'm a medium, and I have had these strange experiences my entire life, but I have always said that the stuff that I share about, the stuff that I teach about, the stuff that I talk about is not about the supernatural or the paranormal. It is actually of the intellect and of the tangible and of the evidential. So I don't believe this is like some sort of dark force in the universe trying to cause confusion. So let me actually give you some instances and then I'll get to my theory. And my theory, just so you know, is called the infinite use theory. And it's a theory that I teach about in my psychic gems and with certain clients during coaching, because it's a way to facilitate transformative change in a very positive way. So some examples. This is really curious, okay? Get ready. So there are examples in movies, geography, history, literature, and pop culture like logos. So when you ask certain people how many states there are in the United States, a lot of people will tell you 52. I have always known, according to me, that there have been 50, the number of stars on the flag. But some people really adamantly believe, or they recall, that there are 52 states. In history, when we were kids, a lot of people remember being told that the inventor of the cotton gin was this black man. But apparently in this timeline, it is a white man. Other people remember Billy Graham, this televangelist, having died, but apparently he's still alive. Other people remember this painting of Henry VIII with, holding a turkey leg. But apparently now that painting never existed, him holding a turkey leg. There is a painting of him having a meal. Um, but some people really swear that they remember, a picture of him holding like a turkey leg. And the one that really tripped me up, the one that made me sort of have a twinge of panic, like I swear, I remember it one way, but everything that I keep finding on the internet, well, most everything, proves it to be different or wrong, is the Berenstain Bears. I remember this family of bears. They had all these books written about them, and their name was Berenstein. Well, apparently now their name is Berenstain. So where it used to be Berenstein, now it is Berenstain. People are freaking out about this on the internet. I freaked out about it a little, but then I sort of forgot about it because I don't want to deal with anxiety and panic. But if you look, I don't know what you remember, but I swear that the reason I remember it as Stein is because I used to believe this family was Jewish because of their name, when I was a kid. And now all the evidence shows that it has always been Stain. Except for certain things that other people have found. And this is really curious around the Mandela effect, is that you'll find like contradictory data, like contradictory stuff that supports your memory, but it also supports, but then other evidence supports other people's memories. Like, I have seen online some video clips of VHS tapes and books and even ads that show the name being Berenstain instead of Berenstain Bears. And a lot of people seem to explain like, oh, it was probably an error or a misprint or whatever. But when you have a brand like that, misprints and typos, and misunderstandings are pretty rare. In music, Queen's "We Are the Champions," that song, apparently it used to end for some people with "of the world," we are the champions of the world, but apparently now it just ends as "we are the champions," and that's it. Prince's song "Let's Go Crazy," where he talks in the intro about "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to," some people remember it as "celebrate this thing called life." Other people remember him saying, like he does now, "get through this thing called life." And then there are some other changes in that song that people remember as different. In movies, there's this famous scene in Star Wars where Darth Vader reveals to Luke that he is his father, and some people swear they remember him saying, "Luke, I am your father." Most people, and current video shows, that he says, "No, I am your father." But it's really interesting because there are some interviews with the voice actor of of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, where he repeatedly says, "Luke, I am your father. Luke, I am your father." And some people just believe it's just, a confusing fact, because apparently I've heard from one of my Star Trek super friends, that it is one of the most misquoted lines from a movie. Forrest Gump. You guys remember that movie, right? Well, there's a scene where he's sitting on a park bench with this woman dressed in a nurse's outfit, and he's offering her chocolates, and he talks about how his mom always used to say that life was like a box of chocolates. There are a lot of people who absolutely remember him saying life is like a box of chocolates. And it's really curious because if you look at the movie, Sally Field does actually say life is like a box of chocolates. And there is actually another clip of the exact same scene of him, on that park bench saying to this woman, life is like a box of chocolates, as well as the one that is like the final one in the movie that says life was like a box of chocolates. It's really, really weird. And I could totally try to make sense of it by saying, oh, you know what, they probably had many different takes. Maybe the director didn't catch, the final one, and so they kept life was like a box of chocolates when it should be life is like a box of chocolates. Um, and that's why there's two different, you know, videos, clips of the exact same scene saying two different things. A lot of people, though, are saying no, one is from one timeline and one is from another timeline. And they're actually calling it different Earths. There's old Earth and there's new Earth. It's really funny because they only seem to identify two worlds. And that sort of makes sense because these seem to be two different experiences, you know? But for me, in my infinite use model, it's definitely many more Earths than just one or two. Some other examples of it, and then I'm going to get to the theories, is in geography. You guys know where Australia is, right? So apparently, the way I remember it, Australia is no longer in the same geographical position as it used to be. For me, I remember it being surrounded by a whole bunch of water and just sort of like isolated on its own in the oceans. Now it is incredibly close to some other landmasses. And there also used to be, in my memory, this island to the west of Australia. And apparently now it is completely gone. It is missing. Except for this one clip in this one movie called Dazed and Confused, where these two characters are playing with the globe. And on the globe, you actually see Australia in the same position that I remember it, as well as the island to the west of it. Like, why would somebody create a globe that was so wrong? You know, I don't understand that. And other people remember Mongolia having a much larger, you know, land size than it currently does. How about the International Seed Vault? Do you guys know? Have you guys heard of it? Do you guys know where it is? I remember it being in the country of Norway, but now it's apparently in a totally different region with its own specific weird name. I didn't write it down, so I can't share it with you. So I just wanted to share all that, you know. I take a look at this stuff, you know. Do your own investigations, search your own memories, see what you find. But I just think it's a really curious phenomena, and it's like more and more things seem to be showing up as one population of people remember it one way, this other population of people remember it a completely different way, but similarly, you know? So group A does not match with group B. And I think it's really strange because if there really was this discrepancy in memory only, then there would be a whole like larger variation of differences or changes. But there seem to be, you know, 50 states versus 52 states. Australia being close to a landmass, Australia being out there in the ocean, you know. Sally Field, you know, her name being Sally Field. Some people believing her name used to be Sally Fields. Some people remembering her during an acceptance award speech where she, you know, is crying and she's saying, "You like me, you really like me." And this other people remembering her never saying that at all. And the evidence sort of shows that she never said that at all. It's really weird. So investigate this on your own. And so now about the theories about what might be causing this, right? So I shared the one about it could be just a glitch in people's memory, not the actual matrix. Some people believe it's a sign of parallel universe or parallel reality bleed through, but it seems to be incomplete. And it seems to be, you know, affecting certain people versus not affecting other people. People just calling it two different Earths that seem to have like crashed, you know, into each other energetically. And so people from old Earth seem to remember one thing, and people from new Earth seem to remember another thing. Other people believe that CERN, you know, that big old science experiment over there in Europe, actually did something, like created a singularity or opened some sort of energetic portal, and so now there are some, you know, hidden forces, some occult forces, changing the world around us to like lead us to a specific destination. I don't know. You'll see if you research this in some videos that some people get really. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell you this. Some people get really like religiously, fanatically passionate. That this is some sort of like evil force making these changes. And there are huge populations also on the internet, and people I've talked to who are convinced that biblical passages are different than how they remember them, different how they memorize them, like in Sunday school. Like this one passage where the lion will lay down with the lamb. Well, apparently now it's the wolf will lay down with the lamb. And this other passage where you can't put wine into old bottles, where it used to say you can't put old wine into new wineskins. And to me, wineskins seems more realistic because bottles just seem so much modern, so much more modern. But there's just so many different opposing opinions, so many varied opinions. So the infinite use model, okay? So I have seen, through my curious experiences, that we actually have access to other realities. And there are an infinite number of these other realities that seem to be running concurrently with ours. And in these other realities, there are other yous, which is why I call it the infinite use model, because there literally are like an infinite number of iterations of yous, where some of them might have a certain trait that's completely amplified. Just some examples, there is a politician you, there is a drug dealer you, there is a completely not existing you anymore because they died early on. There is a you that is, I don't know, 100 pounds overweight, compared to you, or underweight. Like all of these different variations of you, different iterations of you. And it is my belief, and I have noticed that if you put this in practice, it is actually true, that you can reach out to these other yous. Not necessarily through words, but through mindsets, sentiments, and emotions. And the reason to connect with them is to gain an understanding and gain alignment with them, because ideally you would most likely reach out to the ones that are similar to you but maybe are experiencing a circumstance or reality that is desirable by you but you are not currently experiencing it. That is the intention behind that connection. And by connecting with them, you get that wisdom, that knowledge that leads to that experience. So like for instance, if you currently do not have a loving relationship and you reach out to a you that does have, a thriving, loving, faithful, respectful relationship, then you can sort of anchor your energy there and then drive to it from the information that you get from them that will help you make the decisions and choices that will bring you there, or that will take you there. I have seen this work. I have seen this work for many people. And so I know that this has to be true. And I have always believed that anything that can happen happens somewhere. And that our imaginations actually do have incredible power, because they can create realities that can thrive and exist, not necessarily free of our attention, because they always seem to require attention of some sort to lock them in, to hold them there. And I sort of talk about this in a different video around the underneath and out-of-body experiences, because there are really incredibly sensitive thought responsive realms that respond to your thoughts, emotions, and mindsets. So anyway, coming back to infinite use, you can shift into different realities. Sometimes it feels like little by little, slow and gradual. Sometimes it feels drastic and extreme. And I believe that when you shift into a different version of you, a different iteration of you, your history changes as well. but not totally. You know, that's why some people can retain memories of, like, you know, the Volvo looking one way, the Volvo logo looking a different way now. Um, so I'm just really curious about what your thoughts are about this. You know I threw a lot at you, but have you experienced these before? You know, are you, as I'm sharing them, saying, "Oh my gosh, I do remember it that way. Oh my gosh, I do remember 50 states, not 52 states. I do remember the Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstain Bears." I'm really curious about what you have to share. Is this freaking you out? Is this tripping you out? Or is this something that you just like want to just stop, ignore, go away? I don't want to think about this because it's kind of overwhelming. I don't know. But I'm just really curious about your thoughts and opinions. So just wanted to share that. Let me know what you think, because if these changes and these shifts do keep happening and they get even more drastic, which some people have actually experienced some seriously drastic effects, like certain family members disappearing, but they exist in their memory, or some people, you know, having family members that were not in their memory, but they are in their reality. You know, like this woman having 2 children currently, but she swore she had 3. This other man, you know, knowing for a fact that he never had a father, but his father is around. Things like that. So what I was saying is, if these shifts keep happening and if they get more extreme, I think the Infinite You model can create a structure, can create a framework so that you can maintain like a level of control and conscious, deliberate shifting or reality jumping. And I'm going to be holding a seminar, a class on the Infinite Use model, because it is really juicy, it is really awesome, and I use it for profound transformative change that is purposeful in a person's life. But these seem to be accidental, you know, these seem to be unintentional, they just seem to happen around other people. I don't like that. You know, I like giving people more control because it reduces, you know, fear and anxiety in us and in our lives. So look to hear more about that, and I think that's enough for now. So enjoy investigating the Mandela effect, or just completely ignore it until, you know, it seems to confront you really strongly. I just think it's really curious. I don't know like what's going to happen next, but I know something's going to happen next around it. So have a great day. Thank you.